Hey, mamas, we're talking about overwhelm today. I'm talking about what to do when you're overwhelmed, let alone your teen. Because I've got two awesome examples for you that we're going to talk about why you might be feeling overwhelmed. And is your teen lazy or just trying to decide how to handle all of the moving pieces, all of the big components, let alone finding the time and actually getting it done? So, mamas, let me know, do you know what it means if you feel overwhelmed? Like if that is something you felt today, let alone you're like, yeah, Jessica, I get this whole overwhelm thing as a mama. I am totally there. Then do know I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that heart button. And I really want you to know, okay, we are here to talk about tips for feeling overwhelmed because I want you to know, okay, this is why I feel this way. This is what I can do for me. And then I want you to know how to help your teen. Okay, because your teen is not lazy. Your teen probably is feeling overwhelmed more often than not. So let's talk about this because I've got two different examples, one for you and one for your teen. Now, for you mamas, I am hosting this amazing free event right now called the Summer Learning Resource Fair. And if you're not already signed up, there's a ticket waiting for you. Add the link in the description. And do you know that I bring up overwhelm with this event because unfortunately, I tried to give so many amazing resources that I might have offered too many. So I've had lots of mamas say, Jessica, it's a little overwhelming. So let's start with that. Okay. So definitely check out the resource fair after this video, but know that that link is waiting for you. And I don't want you to forget about it. Okay. So this event, there are 7 categories. There are at least 50 resources. There's a free level and there's also a VIP level. So even just giving those like 4 pieces of information, I'm curious, how are we feeling? Does that seem like too much already? Or you're like, okay, I got that. Okay. Because that can be step number 1 of overwhelm when we're trying to decide, okay, how do I stop feeling overwhelmed? Well, we've got to decide, okay, how was the information presented? And then how do I react to that information? Okay. Because if we're already like partially fried, if we're already partially, struggling, even if it doesn't have to do with that one particular thing we were trying to focus on now, that's going to lead to overwhelm faster than if we're already in a good place mentally. Okay. If we're already feeling regulated, if we're already feeling, ready for this new thing. Okay. So there's step number 1 is just getting the information and reacting to it. And then from here, okay, so 7 resources. Well, it is a 7-day event. All right. We started it back on June 24th. So if you're already part of the event and you're watching this, you're like, okay, yeah, I've had plenty of time to look at the resources. But maybe you're watching this and you're like, okay, Jessica, this is the first time I've seen a video from you. This is the first time I'm hearing about the Summer Learning Resource Fair. And then you sign up today. Well, the fair ends tomorrow, June 30th at midnight Central Time here in the States. And so then all of a sudden you realize, wow, Jessica, I don't have 7 days. Okay. I have less than 48 hours. There could be some overwhelm kicking in from that, right? If we're feeling, wow, I want to go to the fair. I want these 50 resources. But now you're telling me I have literally less than an hour per resource. That can feel pretty overwhelming. And if you agree, let me know down below. So then the question becomes, okay, what do we do? Well, as you got to realize, okay, well, there's 2 very different situations going on here, right? 7 days, 7 categories. We could have had 1 category per day, right? But if you sign up today, now we have less than an hour per resource. We also have less than a day per category. So how can we make it smaller? How can we make it shorter? Well, think about this. There's a spreadsheet with the resources. So now you could look at the spreadsheet, decide how many categories there are that you actually want. You could look at the resources in each category or just the resources total, right? And then decide how many that you're interested in. Okay, so like that would really reduce it. Maybe it's not 50, maybe it's only 20 for you. And all of a sudden, I know I feel a lot less overwhelmed when I'm going, okay, I have 50 things to do. Oh, now it's only 20 things. That feels like, whoo, that's a lot more manageable. Okay, so there's another step for you is deciding, okay, what really needs to be done? Okay, because if we think there's 50 things to look at, 50 things to do, that might seem like a lot. But suddenly we can make it a lot smaller Okay, why was I worried about 20 things? I was thinking I could do 50, maybe, not really, but 20, I can handle that. Okay. From here, we've got to think about some time. Okay. Okay, if you sign up today, you're brand new to the Summer Learning Resource Fair. Okay. We're feeling overwhelmed because maybe how many resources, how much time. We've got it down to 20, so it's feeling a lot more manageable. But then we're thinking about, man, you already had plans for my Sunday morning. Okay. So we've lost some time, but now the question becomes, how long do you think you need per resource? Because the cool thing is you download them, you sign up for them today, tomorrow, because you're choosing from each resource. But then all of a sudden, you don't actually have to use those resources today or tomorrow. You can use them 3 months from now. Now, ideally, it's called the Summer Learning Resource Fair because I want to help you and your teens learn this summer. But yet maybe there's something that we're good for now, but I know the end of September, we're going to need this. Well, as long as you download it, you have it, you can use it when you want. So then again, there's a release in overwhelm because it's like, okay, what do I actually have to do? And then really, what are all of the steps and what are all of my options? Okay. So do know that I encourage you to decide how many resources you really want and then figure out how long you're going to spend looking at the resources and then downloading them and then figuring out the steps, the processes that come after choosing. Now, all of a sudden, you might be going, Jessyka, you just added some new steps, some new things, and that started to feel overwhelming, just how many things there are to do. Well, what I encourage you to do, mamas, and what I encourage your teens to do is when we're thinking about all the things that we can do, we've got the choices now of the things that can do and the things that must be done. I don't know if you like it can be, the things they want to do. Maybe you want to have a special folder that's just for these resources. You want to create a new email account so that way, okay, everything's in that one place. You can do all of that, but you don't have to. Okay. Maybe you're thinking, I'm going to spend 20 minutes for the next 2 weeks using these resources. And maybe this week it's 30 minutes. Next week it's 20 minutes. And the following week it's only 5. Okay. Again, can do versus have to do versus want to do. All right. So I wanted to go through this example with you, mamas, because this is something going on right now in my business, the Summer Learning Resource Fair. So it is an amazing place to look at resources. Those 7 categories, one of them is health and wellness. So I'm a study skills tutor, definitely not a therapist, a doctor, psychologist, like anything like that. So definitely mental health is not my end all be all, but yet overwhelm ties directly into study skills, which is why I felt like this was an amazing example, amazing opportunity for me to come and give you some tips about helping your teens when you're feeling overwhelmed. Now, if you're not a follower, not a subscriber, highly recommend that you hit that follow button if you're watching me on Facebook, subscribe button if you're watching here on YouTube, because we're live both places right now. And you also know that if you want your teen to learn how to study, you need to come back and watch some more videos. Okay. And I encourage you to stick around to the end of this one, because now, hopefully, as we've gone through an example that relates just to mamas, because mamas, this Summer Learning Resource Fair is for you. I now want to go through an example of something that might overwhelm your teen. Okay. And hopefully you'll see, okay, these tips, these things that I'm suggesting for your teen, for say like a big project, there's a lot of crossover, if not exact same steps, for you choosing resources at the fair as it is for your teen deciding what to do, how to get through this project. Okay. And when your teen has a big project, say, it's like at the end of the semester, or maybe, it's project-based learning, right? It could be that kind of school, that kind of classroom. It could also just be that your teen, has a test to study for and has other classes and has other daily homework and then has this big project in this class. And so all those classes together start to add up. Well, that can cause overwhelm right there. Okay. Now, something that I don't know if I mentioned and that hopefully is becoming more obvious is that this feeling of overwhelm, it really is kind of mental. It's also going to be a matter of how do we react to this? Like, how do our thoughts really cause that actual physical response? Okay, so if our immediate thought is, whoa, too much, that feels very different than, hey, I can handle this. I can do that. So that's something I want you and your teens to know. Okay, there's some grit and resilience involved. There's some confidence involved, both of which, or all of which, are study skills. Okay. So for your teens, when they're thinking about this project, okay, we've got to help them realize, all right, what all needs to be done. what all's going on with this project itself, let alone all of your other classes. And then we're wondering about your team's time management, because we talked about with you mamas, how many days per how many categories, or how much time to look at the resources, that kind of thing. Well, now we have to decide, your team really has to decide, okay, when am I working on this project? And like, what part of the project am I working on when? And also, is this project top priority, right? Like, am I doing this before anything else? Or am I going to do like 20 minutes of the project, and then I'm going to spend an hour on homework that's due today? And then if I have more time, I'm going to go back to the project. Like, we really have to know how to get organized, how to manage time, which are both study skills as well. And then we also have to realize, okay, mamas, I mentioned the spreadsheet for you with the Summer Learning Resource Fair. So that has the one place for you to look for all the information, all the resources you get to pick and choose from for free. Well, your teen, hopefully with this project, has a rubric, has guidelines, like has some kind of information from the teacher on how to do the project, like what it's supposed to be part of, like what it's made up of, I should say, and then how it's being graded. Okay, because your teen doesn't have all the information he needs, that can be pretty overwhelming if we're trying to do something and we're just kind of making it up as we go. Like, if you don't have any idea, do I want health and wellness resources, or do I want entertainment resources? That can be like, okay, where do I start? But if you at least have that information in front of you, you can pick and choose. Whereas your teen's just told, hey, go write a 200-page paper, which I hope never happens, right? Maybe except like at the PhD level or something like that. But, if your teen's like just told, go write a paper, or, go put a presentation together, that is going to feel very overwhelming if your teen wants to do well. It might also get to the point where you think your teen's lazy because it seems like your teen doesn't care. And, a lot of times it's very easy for all of us, but especially teens, to be like, I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'm bored. Isn't something that's ever going to affect me. But really, your teen is just going to seem lazy and shrug it off when he's feeling overwhelmed. Okay, that's a very, very natural response. If you hear your teen say, it's boring, that usually means, no, I'm struggling, help me. And I don't feel like doing it. Could very, very well be a clue to your teen feeling overwhelmed. So definitely, mamas, those big projects, they require your teen to have a lot of study skills to successfully manage them. And that means that your teen needs study skills in order to not feel overwhelmed. So hopefully you can see with those two examples, the Summer Learning Resource Fair for mamas and how that can be a little overwhelming. And then maybe something like a huge project can be overwhelming for your teen. I hope that you see that there are connections. And it always, always comes back to study skills, and always, always knowing how to personalize your own learning, or your teen knowing how to personalize his own learning. So thanks so much for watching. Remember, the Summer Learning Resource Fair is happening right now. Tickets are free. You go to the link in the description, sign up for that, just provide your name and email, and then you immediately get access to all 50 resources in those 7 categories. You have until tomorrow, Sunday, the 30th at midnight Central Time here in the States, to pick and choose your resources. So download the ones you want and then access them whenever you'd like. Like I said, it could be this weekend, could be this summer, could be 2 or 3 months from now. So have an awesome day. Thanks for being here. Hope you subscribed. Hope you followed, since I will be going live again very, very soon. Have a great day, mamas. Talk to you soon.